All right, good morning, good evening, good night. At this moment, I am euphoric. I wasn't calling for bear season. It was more like a, hey, this feels a little euphoric. It says crypto euphoria on the thumbnail. I guess we're just going to keep going up forever, Buffalo. That's kind of the feeling I get with this market. That's what some of the guys in the chat are in the chat saying. It's alt season. What's going on today, man? You're in a nice part of LADZ City. You're on the up and up.
Yeah, I'm in a bright spot that reminds me of that StreetFighter 2 boxer where you have to fight the guy in Vegas. I cannot remember his name for the life of me right now, but it does give me that vibe. It's nice in hot pink and hot purples. You know, it's the lads kind of colors here in LADZ City, man. It's an interesting time. I hope you guys have all checked your oxygen levels as we start to climb an elevation. You are going to get a little lightheaded this week as the pump continues in crypto. This guy right now, I'm floating. This is euphoria. It has hit me hard. I'm a huge holder of some things that are going up and away, and we have ourselves a nice little rundown today of many things to talk about. This is Layer 1 Live. If you're brand new here, welcome. Shout out to all the Vimworld peeps who came on in today. We're going to be talking about Vimworld. We're going to be talking about Vechain. We're going to be talking about just about everything today. So, Q, man, I'm ready to go. How are you feeling, brother?
Man, I got some comments here about the dollhouse behind you too, so maybe we can hit that tonight. It is a Friday night, so
it is definitely popping. Fridays and Saturdays, the dollhouse is popping, half off. If you bring a lady in, you get in free. It's a spot. It has great spaghetti too. It's really known for its spaghetti. It's a real thing with the dollhouse.
So this is what we're doing right after Layer 1 Live. We're going to hit game night, and we're also going to hit the dollhouse tonight, guys. So be there or be square. This is what we're doing for this episode, because we got about 30 of you guys in the chat right now. We are going to get to some LADZ news. We had a nice week in LADZ City. Easy Street was last night. LADZ Radio was last night. We dropped that awesome episode with Lohan from Dapper Labs. Woo, flow. Quit melting my face, flow, okay? We're going to touch on some breaking news. If you didn't know, right now, 1INCH Airdrop. If you've never used Mooniswap, if you've never used 1INCH, and you used Uniswap in the past 20-ish days, maybe you have an airdrop. We'll touch on that here in a second. Buffalo's got some Vechain news in the house. He just dropped it to the Vechain community, so I want to follow up with what Buffalo just said. Welcome in to those from the Vechain community. We're going to hit on some Vechain stuff this week, and then we've got a plethora of quick news. We've got India coming in hard with the FUD. Nice try. That's not going to work in 2021, India. We've got bans coming potentially for Bitcoin there. We've got a Bitcoin ETF, and I am putting this right here in the kind of thumbnail, and obviously I'm kind of excited about this, but Bitcoin ETF in North America, that is a little bit of clickbait. It's not a US Bitcoin ETF approval, so we'll have to wait. And then we've got some more. Blockfolio got hacked, Amazon, Binance Smart Chain, shout out to CZ there. And then we'll touch on NFTs, DeFi, and then we'll get up out of here. But we should be here for, I'm guessing, about an hour. So you guys are locked in here with us, and we're locked in here with you, and we're ready to have a good episode, man. What are you excited for most?
Yeah, you're nervous.
No, we're locked.
Let me go check my parking meter to make sure I don't get a ticket. But I'm ready to go long today, man. I got nothing else but time for the lads. We do have game night later on tonight. It is CS:GO. So if any of you guys want to get in, get prepared for that. Each week the games tend to change, so we do Fridays are game nights for anybody who loves gaming. LADZ is going to be known for its gaming leagues as we evolve and get more of a group together on that. But Q, would you say this week has been quiet in LADZ City, or would you say it's just another week in LADZ City?
Yeah, I think this is the first event we're hosting this week. It's been super quiet in LADZ City. The only area of LADZ City that seems to be popping is right behind you. So actually, I might be wrong there. What actually happened in LADZ City this week? Break it down for the guys and the girls.
All right, and
lads
the
and
girls,
ladies.
the lads and the laddies, right? Well, if you're new here, this is Layer 1 Live, which is a show on the LADZ Crypto Network. We have shows such as Layer 1 Live Mondays and Fridays. We have NFT Live on Wednesdays. We have podcasts on Thursday, along with LADZ Radio, which I host on Thursday, along with Easy Street, which is another show on Thursday. So Thursdays are popping off these days. And then we have game night on Friday nights, and then Saturdays we have poker, where we have a special event of poker this week, and that is ongoing. And so as we move forward, there are going to be more shows that premiere on the LADZ Crypto Network, and all of this is supported by the LADZ token, which you will receive some today. If you stick around, we will drop some LADZ tokens, throw them in the air like we just don't care. But this week has been a special week. We'll give you the full rundown. On Monday, myself, I was not here. I was working with Microsoft, so Q took Layer 1 Live to the limit and beyond, and then we had Wednesday's NFT Live with the Wolves of Wall Street. How'd that go, Q? How were they?
The Wolves guys were awesome. They've got a great product that they're launching here on, I believe, over the next month, but their sale is on Monday. If you're not familiar with Wolves of Wall Street, we are running something on Monday with them, which is around the time of their sale, which is going to be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, or I believe 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. So we're doing some awesome things with Wolves. They sponsored NFT Live. They're going to be sponsoring Layer 1 Live on Monday as well. Really cool stuff from them. They're doing some interesting things meshing DeFi and NFTs.
I get FOMO anytime there is an event going on in LADZ City and I am not there. I FOMO hard. This whole week was tough. That's why yesterday I was so excited to do LADZ radio. And this morning I woke up and I had a big bag of LADZ tokens, so I went into main chat and started throwing them around. And then this guy Fishy, I don't know if y'all know Fishy, he comes up to me and you know what he does? He takes the tokens that I've been giving out and he throws them back at my face. So he tips me a bunch. But then I say to him, I'll double my tip to your tip. And then before you know it, we have a tip battle going on in the main street of LADZ City. It was awesome. And anybody who was lucky enough to see that tip battle, there were tips thrown around to other people as well. So many people today got tips. If you are a server booster of our LADZ City Discord, you got special tips today. If you are a noble, you got special tips today. If you're a miner, you got special tips today. And if you are a guardian or recruit, you got special tips today. So today, Buffa Santalo made his presence along with Fishy in main streets of LADZ City, and we threw a lot of tokens out there, man. It is a special week. I got the pump blood going, brother. I'm just feeling it. And as Q likes to say, I turn a little southern sometimes, y'all, when the pumps are happening. I don't know. Things are just going crazy in LADZ City right now.
Awesome. Yeah, and things are going crazy here in the chat as well. I'm going to hit on a couple comics. XPlow is first. Katsumoto's second. Arif is says hello. He is third, and we have a lot more lads in the house. Easy's over here saying he's going to be interviewed about a wearable collection in a few minutes. So it looks like he's going to be too cool for school on this episode, but he said he will be back. So send me some of that collection. I would love to see what you got going on in the metaverse. Easy. Overman's in the house saying, I'd be surprised if Q's computer is still working after the Power Roham upload yesterday. Yeah, some of you, I believe like 15 to 20 of you got a special Q episode for about 45 seconds yesterday. I deleted that episode already, but I wanted to come to you guys live while I was uploading because it was taking so long. But shout out to Roham for that. He was on Yahoo Finance this morning talking about Dapper Labs, talking about NBA Top Shot. Love what they're doing over there. Check that episode out if you guys haven't already. Really excited if you haven't noticed with Flow. So there's about 40 of you guys in the chat. Buffalo will hit some of these comments as we go along too, but we do have to get to the episode. All-time high is 116 today. 116. That means if we hit 117 on this beautiful Friday, you are getting double the lads rewards for being here today, and we are going to run this episode and have a nice one here. So please leave a like, please leave a subscribe. If it's your first time, we are covering the entire crypto market on this episode. We do those Layer 1 podcast interviews where we go deep and dive in the rabbit hole, as we love to say. Take your shot. If you're listening at home, that is the word we say most here. And we also cover NFTs on NFT Live on Wednesdays. So without further ado, we can probably hop into the episode. Buff, do you see any comments that you want to hit before we get started while I put up the 1INCH Airdrop and go through the details there?
There is a lot of great comments, man. I could read them all off, but I'm just going to go ahead and give a shout out to Jonathan DeWinna for saying our vibe, our tribe, which is a slogan here in LADZ City. If you're new here, man, it is all about the vibe you bring. If you bring that good vibe, then you come to the good tribe. The LADZ City, we're all about you being you. And if you're feeling it here and you're liking what we do this day in, day out. So again, go down into our info here on this video stream, and you'll see the LADZ City Discord link along with the light paper about the LADZ token, along with Twitter, the Substack. We got all the links for you in the description. And if you're new here and you want to get the token we're going to release later on during this episode, go to tryroll.com and get your wallet set up. It's easy, it's free, and then when we release the LADZ link, you'll be able to receive those tokens.
Awesome. Perfect intro. We are ready to go. If you guys don't know about this airdrop, you might have about $800 and $900 waiting for you, as is tradition within the DeFi space right now, because 1INCH just launched this airdrop. I actually checked. I have some claimable 1INCH as well. So this isn't a scam. This isn't... Oh, Buffalo, do you want to hit Mr. Scam? Mr. Buffalo Scam before we get started. You got impersonated yesterday, didn't you?
I'm not following. Who's Mr. Buffalo Scam?
Oh,
God.
Come on now.
Yes. Okay. There's so much happening, bro. You know, I'm on 3 different trains in my brain right now. Yeah, yesterday I had an imposter in LADZ City, y'all. Don't worry. I hit the alert right now. We all had a meeting just like on Among Us to find out who the imposter was. I believe they ran away with 0 Ethereum in their bag. They tried to impersonate me as Buffalo, and if you are all wise, which you all are, everyone smelled the bullshit from a mile away. Some of you all had some great responses to the impersonators. And what's going to happen is Discord, they don't fully regulate the usernames, so you can copy somebody else's username and profile and pretend that you're them. So no lad, especially up at the higher ones here, like myself and Q and Ronan, will ever reach out to you asking you for your wallet address or any tokens at all. If anyone ever does that, report it to a mod right away, and we will all alert everybody. Just like a bunch of animals in the wild that the deer tips the rest of the deer like, hey, we got a predator in here, everybody pay attention. So that's the way we do it. But we caught him, nothing happened, and luckily this time nobody gave away any Ethereum. But that's a sign. That's just a sign we're growing. When we see the spammers and the hackers come, it's honestly just a sign that we are growing. But we got to be sharp about it.
Yeah, and listen, Llama did have that situation happen with Ronan the ETH collector. We already had an imposter come in and try to scam people. And was actually successful with that. So I know Llama's having his Llama dreams right now, but shout out to and pour one out to our man Llama 6666. So
that's right.
Cam Wolf's in the house. He says, "Ha, we throw him outside the LADZ City spaceship." Of course, that's what we do.
Imposter.
All right, so that was kind of the last piece of story there. We will get to the actual news from the week. Again, 1INCH, and XPaw just had an interesting comment there that I'm not going to get to, but really funny, kind of, bang on the drums there. How dare you? There you go, Buffalo. Thank you so much. We had $84 million dropped to the community via this airdrop. I'm going to list off the requirements here, okay? So we've got just in time for, I'm not going to do that, Decrypt. Come on. 1INCH Exchange is once again distributing free crypto in another seasonal marketing drive. The latest drop will distribute 6 million 1INCH tokens to Uniswap users and 9 million to its community. Let's say it will distribute 6 million 1INCH tokens to people to Uniswap traders, those who have neither used 1INCH nor its decentralized exchange, Mooniswap. And then there's two more caveats that you guys need to hit here. The 1INCH tokens will go to people who've traded on Uniswap in the last 20 days and placed at least 3 trades this year. No bots allowed. So if you fulfill all those requirements, if you haven't used Mooney, if you haven't used 1INCH, and then you also have traded in the last 20 days, as well as made 3 trades this year, you have 1INCH tokens waiting for you on the 1INCH.exchange. I believe it's around $800 to $900 at current price. So interesting stuff that they're doing here with airdropping tokens. We've already seen this model be kind of played out multiple times. They're looking at doing these airdrops for marketing. I mean, we're talking about them right now. Potentially you can, if you own the tokens, you have more of an ability to kind of go into the interface and see what's going on. So if you haven't claimed your 1INCH tokens, if you maybe want to get involved, this is the time to do so. Not financial advice whatsoever. The one portion I will talk about this, though, I saw an interesting tweet where I guess if you used 1INCH, there was an airdrop that happened back in December timeframe, and you got that airdrop if you were a user of 1INCH in the same way that I guess Uniswap kind of did their airdrop. So people who didn't, or people who were using the service last time or did not use it, didn't get it. I didn't get a 1INCH airdrop the first time around. So then people kind of came to the app and were using 1INCH for a little while. Those people would not have received this airdrop. So if you didn't receive the first one because you weren't a user, and then you were like, hey, maybe if I use 1INCH again, they'll give me another airdrop. You didn't get this airdrop. So I know that was kind of a roundabout way to explain it, but that is what happened here. So congratulations to everybody. We are getting gifts here in DeFi all the time, apparently. So, Buffalo, you didn't get it?
I keep missing the boat, man. This is the second time. You hit me up, and you remember Uniswap when they did that? You said, hey, I think you said it to me and Ronan, go check your wallets. Y'all got free money. And I was like, what? Wallets? Which wallets? And then I found out that I haven't used Uniswap at the time yet. Well, I did some trades on Uniswap in the last 3 weeks, and I've never used Mooney or 1INCH, and I apparently didn't get any. So I don't know what's up with that. I guess I just don't. The Buffaloes don't get any of the free tokens. I have to earn it, man. I got to go to work on it. So I love to see that, though, and I feel like that is a trend that's going to continue with a lot of these decentralized exchanges that are popping up. It's a wild west right now.
Yeah,
kind of like it's a strip in Las Vegas. They're all just doing different shows outside their hotel trying to get people inside. Like, come on over here, man.
And it definitely, it definitely gives a little bit of a sentiment from the community as well if they kind of give back there, and their community appreciates that. I will talk about this really quick. Kieran is in the chat saying, lads beware, the first link coming up when you Google 1INCH Exchange is a hacking scam. It does look like if you Google 1inch, there is an ad at the top to 1inch.exchange-app.io. I do not believe that is the right one. What we're going to do here is go through Twitter first. Make sure that that is the actual like Twitter profile, and then within their Twitter profile, we're going to click on 1inch.exchange. And then once you're in the actual platform, you should see the claimable 1inch here. So I'm actually taking you through this live. You can see the 157 1inch that is left to be claimed here. I know I was talking to Fishy about this earlier, and he had a little bit more than 200. I guess I shouldn't dox him, but he had a little bit more than me. So there's varying amounts that you should get here for the 1inch drop. So that is the 1inch. I think we had some other questions as well. Mass Mage is saying, how do I claim my 1inch, and is it too late if I didn't trade on Uniswap yet? I believe that is the case. So this is obviously one of those retroactive airdrops. If you didn't fulfill the requirements, there is probably not a way that you can get in on this airdrop yourself. So I don't know. Do we see any others? Looks like Loadmasters Rock didn't get it, and yet I qualify. There have been some interesting cases here, and they added this to the article as well, because on the first airdrop, the requirements were different, obviously, and there was about 90 million 1inch dropped in that, but some wallets and liquidity pools weren't eligible for the surprise airdrop, and now 1inch wants to put things right. So they're actually retroactively going back and maybe hitting people that were missed on the first one as well. So there's a lot of things going on here. If you really do have some information, or you want to get information from the team, it's probably your best shot if you want to go over to Discord and check this out. So there definitely is some element of people being missed here. So maybe you guys kind of fall into that range. But that's all the information we have up to this point.
That is amazing for people that have done very small, like 3 trades for a couple bucks each, and then all of a sudden have $800-900 in there. So good on you if you got it. I'll keep checking all day to see if it somehow changes on my end.
I don't know if that's how the blockchain works, but we can figure it out. All right. I've got Ronald McDonald here up on my screen. For what reason, I have no idea, but Buffalo is going to tell us about some Vechain news that we're going to throw up.
Will. Hopefully you're not afraid of clowns. Real quick, I'm going to give some shout outs to some comments here. We have some Vechain fam over in the Vimworld project showing up. Shout out to Grimez, man. He is definitely somebody who's helped me build my Vim army of Vims, and we'll be talking about Vims here shortly. And Brian coming in from the Vim house, or Vim fam as well. So a lot of people from Vechain are showing up today to hear about Vechain projects. And there are some rumors flying around, as always, during a bull run. Well, last bull run was 2017, ended at beginning of 2018. And there was some talks of Vechain getting involved with Ronald McDonald. Well, right now you're looking at a picture, and this is from, let's make sure, Jianing. I hope I said your last name right. He is, what's that?
Zhao Ning.
Zhao Ning. Yeah, that sounds way better than whatever I tried to say. And so he is the CEO of the decentralized exchange on Vechain, and he just posted that recently, saying Happy New Year of the Ox. And apparently McDonald's is related in relationship with Deloitte. Now, Deloitte is involved in Vechain and has been in talks over the last couple of years to really get a lot of Deloitte's clients involved in the Vechain, and one of those big clients is Walmart. So anybody who's following Vechain knows that Walmart has been taking some of their products in China, scanning them from the second they are created to the second they're sold, all on the Vechain network. And so the hope is McDonald's will follow suit and start tracking a lot of their items, possibly just in China to start. And this would be a pretty big adoption for Vechain if this is true. So much rumors. Do not go and take this as can be. Now, what you're looking at right here is a picture in 2017. Now, that was a fake picture of the people in front of McDonald's. That is not real. The second link that I showed you there, Q, is where they took that fake picture. It's actually really interesting because that second picture is a picture of them behind a green wall. And so somebody just chromed out that picture and put them in front of McDonald's. And actually McDonald's responded and was like, has not entered into a cooperation with Vechain. The company is only using our burgers to feed their staff. I know when I first saw this, I was like, come on, Vechain, for real? Well, if you did a little bit of research, Box Mining said, no, y'all, this is a fake photo. Look at that. It is perfectly aligned to be chromed out with the back screen there being green. You guys got to look at your backgrounds before you pose like that, seriously. But no, honestly, it's just one of those weird things that happened in 2017, started a little bit of a pump. and nothing happened. This time, I think it was going to be a little different. If you're looking at VeChain right now, it is pumping hard. There's a lot of energy, possibly people jumping off of Cardano and jumping in. Who knows? But if you haven't looked into VeChain at all and you have no idea what we're talking about, go ahead and look at Token Vision's YouTube channel. He has amazing videos that he's done about VeChain. It's a massive project. A lot of people have to have patience with it because it's going to disrupt the supply chain industry. That's a $50 trillion market globally. They're trying to get involved in that. That's not an overnight kind of thing. This is going to take some years. I have a long-term kind of vision with VeChain, and right now it's getting some attention based off of the bull market. So do some research on it. Check it out. They have some very interesting projects on the VeChain network, like Vimworld, that we'll be talking about in the NFT section today. But VeChain's popping off right now. It's getting some much needed attention, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the old projects are interesting, and even old sounds a little bit negative, but you should look at it as a positive, and I really appreciate your mindset of having long-term vision on a lot of these things. It's awesome to see projects that were started all the way back in 2017 and even before, and we see them doing super well. So as you can see, back in July of 2018, it looks like it hit at least CoinGecko at that point on the 26th of July. It's sitting around, looks like 2 cents. And VeChain right now is touching, or at least close to, all-time highs. It's about down 8%, but it did hit that all-time high, and it's sitting about 6 cents right now. So definitely awesome things to see from VeChain. It's looking like it's riding the altcoin wave here that we see in the broader market. So it's awesome to see. I think EOS is doing the same thing. So definitely a lot of interesting things that go on with these larger protocols.
It's really interesting too. Somebody took a pretty much a TA of both VeChain and Cardano, and you could line up the graphs, and they lined up almost like they were holding hands, walking through a long path together until about a month ago when Cardano started popping up to the moon and beyond, and now VeChain's literally doing part of that too. So it's an interesting theory. A lot of people are saying, watch, it's going to be the next Cardano pump. But again, do your own research into the project, know what you're getting into. This is a massive project that, it's going to take some time, but it's also very exciting because, as you know, with Ethereum right now, it has gas issues. VeChain is a 2-token system that's going to allow for massive adoption for a lot of these companies to use it all day and night and not have to worry about gas changing and multiplying overnight and having to pay more to do the same thing you did yesterday.
Got it. All right, so we got some comments. If you guys do have more questions here on VeChain itself, please feel free to drop those in the chat. It looks like Mass Mage is saying they got a successful troll in on McDonald's Twitter. He also added us and said, I don't know if this is the show, but here's some alpha. LBC will be pumping because they launched an iOS app yesterday. Not sure if you guys heard about that. No, we did not hear. There's a lot of things going on here in crypto Twitter. We're trying to keep you guys updated, but there's a ton of stuff going on. And never take financial advice from a mage eating McDonald's. Very true. Overman saying Wax is in Walmart and Target through Tops. Buy a pack, scan a code for Wax NFTs. Interesting stuff. We have a lot of things, and there are, the supply chain portion, I think, isn't as sexy as maybe user-facing apps, but it's definitely got its utility there. So, all right, we are through with the breaking news. Thank you for dropping that VeChain news there on us, Buffalo. We also have that later. I guess we got Vimworld news as well in the NFT section. So we are through breaking news. I believe we have about 55 in the house. YouTube's doing some funky things right now with the different ways that they're showing this episode specifically. But get the word out about this episode. Again, 116 is the all-time high, and we will continue. And this was probably the biggest news of the week, although it's tough to say what the biggest piece of news is a week in crypto these days. So we got the first Bitcoin ETF in North America, not the U.S., first Bitcoin ETF in America. And what does that mean? So this was approved here in Canada, and it means that there's going to be an availability for people to not have to get exposure to Bitcoin and Ethereum through these grayscale trusts, through these large premiums that these trusts are, offering Bitcoin and Ethereum through. Now, this is a Bitcoin ETF, so I'm going to kind of go through some of the comments here. It will debut on the Toronto Stock Exchange, where it can be used for retirement and education savings accounts. U.S. security regulators have repeatedly declined to approve Bitcoin exchange traded funds. So Bitcoin ETFs are big because it allows larger firms, larger funds, larger trust funds to get exposure without having to tackle this through the premiums that something like Grayscale obviously is offering when someone's trying to get access to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So really cool stuff. We're still awaiting the Bitcoin ETF. Multiple times have been declined here over the course of probably years in the US. But it looks like our friends in the North are approving a Bitcoin ETF, and there's going to be a lot of interesting things that come from this. I can kind of go through the article as Buffalo here gives us his thoughts.
This is the beginning, you got. No, I definitely know ETF. Everybody's saying it's been turned down a million times here in not Northern America, but North America. North of America is Canada, and we got Mexico down in the south part, and we got us in the middle here in the US, and the ETF has not been able to get put through. And I know that I felt like the second it does, man, it's just going to start this next wave. But then again, Tesla starts doing what it's doing now, and I feel like this is just, I don't even know. Honestly, it's just crazy times right now, but this is definitely a sign of good things. If Canada can pull out the ETF, I feel like it's just a matter of time before it's here in America.
Yeah, absolutely.
The US.
100%. I'm going to give a quick shout out. I got 2 new listeners, 2 new viewers, Dan and Todd. Appreciate you guys stopping by. They know who they are. Thank you guys for stopping by. We are having a good time talking crypto here as we pop off. Yeah, thank you, lads. Do not bring up the Greta Buffalo. Please don't do it. No. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna touch on this last piece of news here as it related to this Bitcoin ETF. This is great news for investors. It looks like it allows for more options for retail and institutional investors to allocate to Bitcoin without the premium closed-end funds like Grayscale. So what we just touched on. The second part is definitely interesting as well. Granowska explained that this means the ETF can be incorporated into Canada's tax-favored retirement and educational savings accounts, which are equivalent to IRAs and 529s in the U.S. So really awesome stuff here that we are getting an ETF approved. Now, along with this piece of quick news, and I'll keep it a little bit more quick, along with this kind of bullishness that we're getting with the Bitcoin ETF in Canada, we are seeing India come through and potentially banning Bitcoin. Now, there's a lot of different things going on at play here, but we essentially have a cryptocurrency ban that is going to be passed, and these are rumors essentially, and we see a lot come out of India. As it's related to FUD. 2017, this would have caused the market to kind of tumble 5-10%. We saw that with India FUD, with Korea FUD, where they're the regulators or the authorities are going after exchanges. We saw the moves down back in 2017, 2018, and in the bear market. I don't think it's going to have the same effect, nor I believe has it at all. But we do see this coming out of India. It says India's draft bill to put a complete ban on cryptocurrency transactions will likely be passed. The officials said that when the bill gets passed, cryptocurrency holders and companies will have a transition period of between 3 to 6 months in order to wrap up their activity. This doesn't necessarily extend to blockchain. They're looking at blockchain tech. Just like China, the government is probably looking into creating their own cryptocurrency, their own stablecoin for their local currency. But as far as businesses, as far as cryptocurrency action and investing that is happening in India, they're looking to put a stop to it. Interestingly enough, though, I'm on Twitter and I look up India as the first hashtag, and India wants crypto is the first hashtag there. So it looks like obviously the retail market there is not happy about what's happening.
It's interesting because it's like, I feel like this happens almost every cycle or mini cycle too, right? Where you start seeing some good news and then one country's like, nope, we're going to quit on it. It's like, well, now it's like, all right, you're lost, man. I mean, even though India's huge, it's like, really?
Yeah.
I have trouble believing this if they truly go through with it.
Yeah, it's interesting, and there's some good comments here in the chat. Brian is asking, I would like to know how they ban Bitcoin. There's a lot of ways that somebody can go about this, but basically all you have to know is that they're going to be able to have provenance over physical places. So if you have a physical exchange, if you have physical people that are living in the country where they can be tracked and traced, that's how you're going to be able to ban Bitcoin. You go after the physical locations, you go after the physical people. You don't necessarily attack the block, like the tech. You're attacking the individuals or the entities that live in that country. So any Bitcoin exchanges that they get a whiff of, where you're able to do like local peer-to-peer transactions, those are probably going to be under regulatory scrutiny. If you're talking about people founding cryptocurrency companies, those people are probably going to be under scrutiny. It's just going after the actual physical locations that these I guess transactions or these entities live within. That's how you would go about it. It's the same way that you would go about banning something in Venezuela, right? You're going to go to the third party exchange where all of these different transactions are occurring. If those people live in that country, if they have an office in that country, that's how you ban crypto. So let's see. We've got some good comments. My favorite comment right now is, can we turn Q into a cat?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm not a cat. I'm not a cat. I'm a real person.
Come
on. Nice,
on,
dude.
Time to get serious.
Nice. Awesome.
Oh, no. How do I turn this off?
Buffalo, are you a cat?
All right. We're cool now, bro.
Yeah, this is fine. Deal with it. All right. Kieran saying the same hashtag happened last time they tried. Exactly. Overman saying Indians love crypto. They love free lads even more. That is true, I think. And Buffalo's going to have a fun time with the rest of that video. All right, so we're going to move on. This is quick news, but it is interesting to see Bitcoin move down this path. As we see a lot of other countries move in the exact opposite direction, saying, shit, we need to get involved. Canada's passing, obviously Bitcoin ETFs, and we see the Eurozone kind of, try to figure things out. I'm trying to think. I think it might be Belarus who has a large holding of BTC, and a lot of their reserves are in BTC. I might be wrong. If you're in the comments, please correct me. But it's an ongoing story. It's definitely complex in how some countries are reacting, and another is going the opposite direction. So we'll move on here. It looks like Yang Gang and Francis, I believe Francisco Suarez, or is it Francis? Francis Suarez are talking BTC. So the mayor of Miami, as well as the potential mayor of NYC, is talking crypto, talking payments in BTC. This comes directly from Andrew Yang, and I'm going to ask for your comments here in a second. Where'd Buffalo go?
What's a buffalo?
All right, Buffalo's really trying to sabotage this episode. Andrew Yang says, as a mayor, this is a tweet from Andrew Yang. As mayor of NYC, the world's financial capital, I would invest in making the city a hub for BTC and other cryptocurrencies. Interesting, because the BIT license is one of the worst pieces of legislation that's ever been passed. It's definitely made crypto go outside and look outside of the confines of NYC. So if we can get somebody in there that's going to make a little bit more, favorable regulation, like an Andrew Yang, who I'm a big fan of. I'm definitely a Yang Gang guy myself. If we can get him in NYC, pushing some regulation, and this doesn't necessarily mean anything, nor does the news with Francis Suarez either, that we're about to touch on. But it's awesome to see more and more people that are favorable towards cryptocurrency get into these offices in crypto. But the other piece of news here: Miami officially considering putting government funds in Bitcoin. The caveat here is officially considering, right? The city is, and we read the fine print, the city of Miami's governing commission today passed a resolution that it will look into the possibility of investing government funds. So we've seen Francis Suarez all over Twitter talking to the different influencers. He had Pomp and his wife down there talking about Bitcoin. I believe actually Coin Artist is down there. I'll give her a shout out really quick, and she was I think adding Francis. So in talking about how she could bring NFTs to Miami. So Francis is doing a lot of things, and you see his tweet here. He's exploring state legislative property, paying employees in Bitcoin, and investing in the city treasury in Bitcoin. There's actual video, so let's see if we can't pull him up here.
I want to thank the City of Miami Commissioners for supporting my resolution, which directs the city manager, after analysis, to procure a vendor to be able to offer our employees to get a percentage of their salary in Bitcoin, allows our residents to pay for fees in Bitcoin, and also would allow the city manager to cooperate with Miami-Dade County to allow for taxes to be paid in Bitcoin. It also requests of the state legislature that the City of Miami supports efforts to make Bitcoin an acceptable currency for us to potentially invest in the future. It's wonderful to be a very crypto-forward city in the city of Miami, and I want to thank my commission colleagues for allowing that to happen.
All right, so that was from Francis. That's a good kind of breakdown of what he's trying to do in the city of Miami. Buffalo, I don't see any of your ski goggles or any masks. You were gone there for like 30 seconds, though. Somebody came in with the hamburger masks. Speaking of McDonald's, but anyways, go ahead. You're on another level right now. All right, do you have anything to say here that is related to the
I
news
want to
that
read
we were
some
talking
comments.
about?
Let me
Okay.
read some comments because, let's get serious here, Buffalo. All right, these are serious times. We're all making money, but let's get serious with it. All right, Overman says right now it is since Elon, things will change. The big boys will lobby now. This feels almost like, I mean, I wasn't really paying attention when it happened because I was just a little brat, snot-nosed kid, but when websites were almost a must for a company, right? As people started to put their presence online, they're going to start thinking about their flow of liquidity and where they're storing it and how that they're maximizing their gains. And then as you see Elon moving in with Tesla so hard, you're going to think of, I mean, there's rumors right now with Apple, there's a lot of other companies that it's like, why are you guys not doing this too? And it almost feels like there's going to be this domino effect, right, where all these companies are going to almost all together start pumping and taking Bitcoin to these levels that people are having trouble trying to see. Of course, now 100,000 doesn't seem that far away when we're almost at 50. So yeah, I could see this. It's definitely something with a lot of lobbying too, where the mindset of all the people who are against it because that was the trend, well, now to be for it is against the trend, and how politicians just go with whatever keeps them in office. We kind of see how this will be played out as this new 4-year crazy cycle begins.
Yeah, we're going to get to, I mean, I know we talked about quick news being quick, but we're going to spend some time here. I definitely want to get some people's comments in the chat because that is the bull case right now, right? We've seen 800% gains on almost a good amount of the top 100, let alone outside the top 100. We've seen 200%, 300%, all the way up. I mean, there's a couple tokens in here that have gone up probably 100x, 200x here, and that generally signals the bull market is here. But a lot of us from 2017 and before then, we look at this and we say something doesn't feel right. It feels a lot like there's too much money on the table. It's too euphoric. There's a lot of things going on. But then the bull case for this is that we're just getting started because of guys like Elon. The fact that the big money isn't in, where he's putting 1.5 billion, there are tons of companies that can do maybe not 1.5 billion, but can put a ton of their assets into Bitcoin, and then therefore, Grayscale and a lot of these others can go down the line. Grayscale set up a trust for Sushi Swap. So there's these things at work here where you could make a legitimate argument in probably, although in a bull market, people are gonna get a little bit more euphoric here and make their decisions maybe emotionally. You can make a really good argument that there is no stopping this because all of that money is yet to flow in, and as we see Elon, as we see all these guys, they're gonna make the domino effect there. So
Yeah.
I see it. It's just it's amazing to me to watch it in real time because you're sitting here saying it can't go up any further, right? It can't do this. But you've got inflation, more inflation in the past year than you had in like the previous multitudes of years. We've seen a lot of different things happening in the macro environment that is saying, no, this is actually just the start of this. And if it's just the start, holy crap! Congratulations to everyone that's here already. And I would love to get your guys' thoughts on this in the chat. So let me know. Is this the beginning? Are we in the middle innings of this? What do we think?
Well, Q, I think there's a nice catchphrase that Doc likes to say that you like to say a lot that could really make everybody understand where we are. And how does that go again?
I always mess this up. It has something to do with being halfway up the mountain. We're at the tippity top, but we're only halfway up. Is that it? Did I get it right?
That's it. He nailed it. We're at the top, but we're only halfway there. And of course, that doesn't make any sense, but it does at the same time because this is a different cycle. And honestly, to me, this feels like the cycle of all cycles when there is that adoption phase for the investors of, bigger companies instead of just retail investors, right? Now you have institutional money moving in. And we're kind of have bear PTSD from 2017's pullback or beginning of 2018, right? That we think, oh no, this will come back. Bitcoin will drop back down this much. And now when you have institutional money in there, it's almost like that wall that was set, right? And so now there's going to be pullback on some of these crazy alts that are doing nothing but just shilling right now. And that there will be pullbacks on that, I guarantee you. But for the overall market, it's going to be probably a different pullback, at least in my opinion, when there are, when the red streets start showing up again.
Yeah, and Overman's in the chat saying pullbacks always come, but eventually over 100K, domino effect indeed, under 10% of every corporation's balance sheet. I agree with that. Pullbacks always come. It's just when are we getting that like local pullback, right? Like I don't think me and Buffer don't be under the impression that I'm saying, hey, we need to go down and we need to stay there for a year or two or things like that. It's just where do we see that local pullback and then can resume all of these like euphoric emotions. So that's kind of the idea. It's like, where do we get that kind of local pullback? That's my biggest fear right now. Although if we're in it long term, it really doesn't matter. It's just more of it's just more interesting to see it play out in real time. I have no bull or bear in the fight. I'm here, like you said, 2 years, 3 years, 20-year time frames. So if on that type of time frame, of course it's going to 100K. Of course it's going over that. It's just in this local time frame, where is the actual dip coming?
That's exactly the mindset I've had since I got into crypto. It is going to continue to appreciate. It's going to be like, and I kept trying to tell my friends, my family, my neighbors' dogs, you guys, if you have just acquire more Bitcoin right now. Long-term thinking here, the next cycle is going to be so much bigger than where it's at now. But they're like, oh, I can't even afford one whole Bitcoin. I shouldn't do it. And I'm like, oh, it's that mindset with a lot of people that they want either instant gratification and they just can't see the long-term play on here, or they just don't believe it. It is definitely something that takes certain people a belief of seeing it proven first, right? And there's people that do not like risk at all, and they just don't want to touch this until everyone's doing it before they jump in, and that's okay. To each their own.
Yeah, you guys are coming through with some good comments as well. Mass Mage is saying, I heard Apple might put some of its assets into BTC. Baitshot Billy's coming through with a great comment. Real value will be more important soon. Real projects and one that allows for expansion of existing blockchains. There's a conversation to be had with DeFi and the rise that all of these DeFi tokens that are now in the top 50, now in the top 20. We see Uniswap, we see Aave, we see Synthetics. These are all revenue generating platforms now, right? That didn't exist. Like if we pull up 2017, if we go even further back, let's not even talk about Filecoin. Let's not even talk about all the craziness that happened in 2013 and things like that. There's actual revenue generating platforms here. Cardano aside, and shout out to Fishy there. What the hell is going on with Cardano? No one will ever know. There's Dogecoin.
How dare you?
There's Dogecoin. There's some other things that are technically kind of questionable. Although I guess Dogecoin's value prop is not that it's revenue generating. So DeFi has an interesting debate too. It's like a micro debate of the entire crypto market. It's like, okay, well, we've seen a large push up with a lot of these. Aave's up like 2,000x or something from ETHLend in its days as a 1 cent cryptocurrency. It still potentially has ways to go. If this is really the future of finance and the future is decentralized, these things have a ways to go to be valued at what the traditional financial institutions are valued at now. It's an interesting time. I think we're all watching it. It's just funny to see the 2017 guys and 2016 guys say, what the hell's, when are we going to see what we saw in 2018, or is it going to look the same? But great comments coming through, guys. I love it. And Kieran saying, I believe in the tech.
Hey, then you're golden, man, because the money just comes for the tech, right? For especially a lot of the ones that are truly doing it, like Bitcoin and Ethereum as they grow. That's all you need.
Awesome. So we've got some like smaller pieces of news. Blockfolio got hacked. This was not great to see. We saw Sam Bankman-Fried have to go onto. Actually, you have a loading thing on top of your head? Are you?
What's that?
Are you okay?
I'm just trolling you hard right now. Are you getting updates? What do you got here, man? What you got?
Blockfolio got hacked, guys. Sam Bankman-Fried had to go on to Clubhouse, and we have a situation where the hacker didn't steal any funds. It was actually just messages, some like not suitable for work messages, some racist messages that actually got out via this hack. So Blockfolio users got a notification that said, hey, X, and it said that message. Sam had to go on, and Blockfolio had to go on from their platform and actually apologize for all of this. And then there were some interesting things where Sam went on to Clubhouse to talk to a group of individuals that were upset, and it played out very weirdly and all of those different things. But unfortunate to see this hack from Blockfolio. I'm going to move on here unless you have something else, Buff, from that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just a sign. More attention. You're going to have these hacks. It's kind of curious to see the ways that they go about the hacks too. It sucks that they said shitty message. It would have been funnier if they created some kind of viral kitty lawyer video or something with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. We got Amazon hiring developers for a digital currency project. This is codenamed DEP, Amazon's Digital and Emerging Payments. This is going to be launched in Mexico, and they're looking for developers that are essentially going to allow, it looks like some cross-border payments. It looks like some ability to allow Mexican citizens to access different applications via what essentially will be, I'm guessing some type of way to get their fiat on to an on-ramp and be able to use and purchase Bitcoin and things like this. So interesting stuff from Amazon there. Bigger corporations getting in. You've talked about Apple. Amazon may be up next. Who knows? So the last piece of quick news might not be so quick. Binance has absolutely been killing it over the past 6 to 7 months. I know CZ had a lot of interesting, I guess, negative press-related material here while we were still in the bear market. But since the bull market's hit, Binance has absolutely killed it. One thing I'm gonna throw this over to Buffalo here to talk about it. But one interesting piece of information, and this is from a DApp Radar article here. The key takeaways for Binance Smart Chain, especially over the last month, 30 days. Okay, Binance Smart Chain generated 15 million in terms of transaction volumes in January. In February, it's now 24 billion. And I'll bring up the chart to show you what that actually looks like from a transaction volume standpoint. And this is it. You can see right there, January, 3rd, not much action. And by the time February hits, it's looking like around 14 billion again in transaction volume comparative to the start of the year in 2021. So Binance Smart Chain absolutely killing it. I know there's a lot of LADs that are in Binance and in the BSC and in Pancake and all of these different things. So shout out to you guys who are supporters of this. But based on this article, Buff, what did you think and what did you make of kind of what DApp Radar was putting together as well as the research you were doing on some of these other things?
I feel like in 2017, Binance, I definitely was I missed on really going heavy on them. And I remember they can move. They can really turn it up. And they had an affiliate kind of style that brought in so many people, and BNB token pumped really heavy. And now they are taking that to a whole nother level as they create their own chain, as they're bringing on so many projects that there is no limit to where BNB can go right now. I mean, it is crazy. And it's kind of blown me away at how fast they're moving at this scale. I mean, those numbers you just said in the last 7 days, that's ridiculous. Like, is that going to continue? What is going on? Madness. That's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of great comments as well. And I want to kind of follow up on your statement there with Larry Cermak over there. I believe he's at the Block. My man's at the Block, Director of Research. This sums up my thoughts. I know just straight from the horse's mouth. Larry kind of laid it out very clearly here. The Binance Smart Chain craze explained it in one tweet. Cons: centralized as beep. Everything built or financed by Binance. Pros: low fees. Binance has deep pockets. Massive opportunities because Binance will list anything that gets traction there. Profit maxis are there right now. So basically what Larry is saying is, although it doesn't fulfill all the requirements that maybe decentralized maxis want, it's probably not as decentralized as something like Ethereum or some of the other chains. You do have CZ, you do have deep pockets, you have a lot of things going on within that ecosystem because they're relentless at shilling it. So I've got Larry talking as well as, why does this work for Binance Chain and not other zombie chains? CZ shills BCS in literally every tweet or talk I've heard recently. They have a perfect setup for a bridge and can fund and market this for centuries. BNB up 200% on all of this. So
sorry about that. I'm in the bag getting all crazy over here. What's really interesting with Binance is the bridges that they're building with Polkadot too, right? And so at the end of 2020, Binance announced a 10 million fund to support projects in the Polkadot. This is like a whole next thing, right? Where as you see these bridges between exchanges that wasn't really going on in 2017, right? It was each for themselves. Now they're all like connecting to each other to try to maximize just how they're growing and supporting the projects within each one when they're in those different stages. I would never smack Mr. Bear, Deanna. She says, well, just smack his... No way.
Awesome. Well, there's 62 of you guys in the house. We'll continue touching on this Binance story here for a second, and then we'll move on to NFTs, and then we'll close out with DeFi. So we have Pancake Swap, we have Bakery Swap, which is essentially the Uniswaps, the automated market pools for a lot of what's going on in this chain. These are passing volumes on. Volumes there on Ethereum. I think we saw that via the DApp Radar article as well. I can pull that up and look at this in comparison to maybe Polkadot, to maybe Ethereum as well. It looks like the chain is the third largest blockchain in terms of unique active wallets, with a daily unique active wallets of 50,000. PancakeSwap is the second largest DApp in terms of unique active wallets across the entire DeFi industry. So there's more than what meets the eye with what's going on with BNB. Again, the deep pockets of CZ, the ability to do Binance launchpads where they're actually pumping money into these projects. They just know how to service their community, and they're doing a great job. Binance, I believe, is at 130, 133 at the moment that we're talking about it right now. I've got the chart pulled up right in front of me. Amazing stuff out of Binance. Amazing stuff out of CZ. No one's under the impression that this is like some, decentralized chain. Binance definitely has a lot of control there, but they seem to be, building out a nice little ecosystem here, and that's definitely an underrated statement, or an understated statement at least.
Yeah, it just impresses me how fast they move in these runs, like they did in 2017 as well, just to stay at that leading edge, and they're not slowing down at all.
Yeah, we've got some other comments. CZ saying today is an important day, and this looked like on February 9th, they flipped Ethereum on daily transactions. So a lot of great things. I've got a couple more that I want to throw up here. It looks like PancakeSwap overtook Uniswap as well, or SushiSwap, on the 24-hour volume. So you can see there, SushiSwap is at about 530 million. This was on February 10th, and PancakeSwap at 536, and then obviously Uniswap way out in front on 24-hour volume with 2.3 billion. So interesting stuff out of BSC. So before we move on, guys, I know there's a lot of people in BNB. I know there's some people using Binance Smart Chain. If you have any comments beyond, the actual price of BNB, which is pretty straightforward. If you have anything, for BSC or things we might have missed, we're not the biggest BSC users, so this is where we need you guys to come in and really, add to the conversation there. So great stuff from CZ again. Buff, you good?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing? I love these awkward pauses. It gives me a second to catch my breath because I get a little lightheaded with excitement, man. This is definitely a fun time in crypto, and I've seen some really good questions here. Bait Shop Billy's asking, what do you guys think of Matic and their move to Polygon now? So I guess it's the perfect time for us to move on to NFTs. What do you say, Q?
Yeah, do it.
All right. Well, CryptoVoxels will incorporate Matic now into its virtual world along with VulcanVerse. So there's some really good things going on here. Matic is popping off. And as you guys know, there's a gas crisis in Ethereum. So a lot of projects that are being slowed down because of this are starting to move to Matic. And which is now being called Polygon, right? And so this move is definitely something interesting here. Now, Q, go ahead and tell them about the CryptoVoxels one, and I can explain the VulcanVerse one.
Yeah, I'm going to also pull up QuickSwap, which is the essentially Uniswap on the Matic network, which is now, again, rebranded as Polygon. They definitely saw a little pump as I pull up the token price. Let's see if, they've already changed there. So 84th by market cap, they're sitting around 12 cents. They saw that big uptick as kind of the branding. It was either priced in or, at moment of rebrand there around the 9th, I believe that was the announcement. So almost close to about a 200% gain over the past 7 days, over the past week. Matic's doing amazing things. I think just to answer the question, straight up, they're taking advantage of what's happening with NFT projects specifically on the Ethereum blockchain. It's very simple. They're allowing people to actually use the product and use their platform. It was interesting because in my comments with Lohan from Dapper Labs, he actually said they were getting death threats in 2017 from ICO projects that were looking to raise, and that was at the height, CryptoKitties came out at the height of the ICO market. So people were raising $30, $40 million on a dream in a white paper. And CryptoKitties like brought that to a halt, right? So if you had any of your sales timed around when CryptoKitties pretty much killed Ethereum or like ground it to a halt, because back, in 2017, the price of gas inflated, but only up to a certain point. And then it became actually unusable. It wasn't that it's unusable because you can't afford it. It was actually unusable. They couldn't do these sales. So they were actually getting death threats because NFTs were pushing out ICOs. Well, now you have the opposite effect. ICO or DeFi is pushing out NFT projects and it's making it unusable for them. To which Polygon is saying, come on over to our layer 2. So they're doing an absolutely fantastic job of onboarding different projects. We'll see more of that, I'm sure, over the next, until we're completely maybe migrated. It's tough for me to say, hey, there's actually going to be projects that stay on. The only projects that will stay on Ethereum are the high value, low volume transaction. Hash mass, for example, when you're trading something that's worth 5, 6, 7 ETH, and the idea of it being scarce and it being on Ethereum, those things will continue to stay. But all the low value, high volume moving straight to things like Matic, BSC maybe.
Yeah, it's the big move right now as everybody's getting impatient for the 2.0 and VulcanVerse, which is a metaverse on Vechain, which Vechain left Ethereum back in 2017, early 2018 to start their own mainnet because of the issues with gas. And so they created a 2-token system to create a mainnet that would run as well and be adopted where you don't have to worry about the gas prices. So a lot of these projects that are being slowed down right now, like you said, that have a lot of volume and are smaller, transactions, it just doesn't make sense. Like they're literally being like boxed in and can't run daily what they're trying to do, like Doki Doki and a lot of other projects that have a lot of transactions that they just don't see because of these gas prices right now. And so VulcanVerse feeling the same kind of effect of just wanting to reach out and bridge to Matic. And so VulcanVerse is going to be moving on to that one. And as the PR or PYR token comes out, they're going to be, anybody staking that in your VulcanVerse land is going to be, it's really interesting. I'm going to be trying to reach out to Jamie, the CEO of VulcanVerse. I interviewed him on NFT Live when I first came on board. And that was right as the land sold out within like, 2-3 days. And so I'm very interested to reach out to him. He has been super busy. The VulcanVerse community, they've been active every day. They're doing something. So big shout out to them. I know that he's probably seeing this play to scale out. Now, I don't think it's because of VeChain itself. That's where they've been built on. I think it's just for the layer 2 solutions that he may have had kind of scaled out. Maybe even on Ethereum. I don't know the full layout of how Vulcan Forge is put together, but the VulcanVerse metaverse is definitely something that I own some land in it. I'm very excited to see where it goes and the whole project's about it. They're not slowing down. So if anybody's interested in other metaverses out there, highly recommend you look into VulcanVerse because they just every day are doing something, and that community is growing and growing.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about moving and actually bridging because, again, I brought this up multiple times. Avagachi was moving, and they did an actual reward and set up these incentives for moving to Matic. So it says in this article that Vulcan Forged was releasing incentives for bridging to Matic. We've been talking with Matic for a few months. Since day one, they've offered support, advice, and help to shape our ecosystem economy. And that's straight from Jamie's mouth. We have been wanting to move cross-chain for a while and turn down offers from other blockchains due to Matic's rising dApp popularity, fee delegation, prowess, community, and of course support. So interesting in these moves where one can like get involved in something potentially profitable. Mm-hmm. So a lot of interesting stuff happening there. As far as CryptoVoxels, not much to that story, beyond the actual the actual title itself. They're actually using Matic to mint these different wearables, and then you can move them to Ethereum. Obviously, there's different friction points there. It's not the easiest thing to move back and forth from Matic to Ethereum, but that will be solved over time. So Bayshot Billy saying all projects which will add usability to blockchain are my new focus. And then he's given a shout out to PYR. So awesome to have you guys following along here. We are into the NFT portion of the episode. I'm going to hit on, unfortunately, a story that is going to kind of throw me through a loop here. Lindsey Lohan is getting into NFT. Yeah. It pains me to say she's like a boomer now, right? She's like, what is she, like 80 years old?
Yeah, she's old now.
Yeah.
80. Oh, yeah.
But this was, hey, listen, this was like a 2000s, early 2000s starlet here, and she's getting into NFTs in kind of a fishy way, right? We covered this on NFT Live where she actually did the NFT piece, which I can get to here in a second. So this is a tweet from her, but I'm going to actually skip this for now. I've got her NFT on Rarible that she said was going to an actual charity, right? And I believe the NFT ended up going for 50 ETH. Looks like highest bid. No. What's happening here? I got different bids here that expired, and I also have a highest bid being 1.5 ETH. So not really sure what this final piece went for, but we do have her working apparently to have that actually be sold and then donated to charity. But then we have something else go on. And this is Justin Sun. This is a Justin Sun special if I've ever seen one. We've got exploring DeFi and already liking JST Sun on TRX. Super fast and zero fees. Good job, Justin Sun Tron. If you guys didn't know this, we see Adriana right there. That's awesome. There are platforms that allow celebrities or people access to celebrity tweets, right? So you pay a celebrity something like, I'm assuming $1,500 to about $2,000. Don't ask me how I know that actual price, but $2,000, maybe $3,000. Celebrity like Neo, celebrity like Lindsey Lohan, both of which tweeted out almost the exact same thing. Exploring DeFi, already liking it. JST Sun on Tron, super fast, zero fees. It's unfortunate that this is happening. There's not really any way to stop it, although the SEC coming in saying what the hell is going on. But then again, that's the problem. That's the problem here when you have these blatant... I don't know what to say here, Buff. You take over.
Easy money for them, man. And it's just like, yeah, it's just copy paste apparently, with a lot of these accounts that have a lot of viewership, and then they just get some money through it, and they don't even change the text from another person who's posted the same thing. That's just laziness. Come on now. Yeah, I mean, I don't truly follow Lindsey Lohan, so I can't really judge her on this, but I think she's a sports player, right? Is that how she got famous? Yeah. Good on her.
Awesome. So we have Neo here. What's an ideal crypto bag? Thinking TRX, BTT, Justin, JST, Sun, and Win. Okay. So this is going to continue. We're going to see the SEC, turn its eyes if more and more celebrities start to do this, where they're being paid to show. Like, there's no disclaimer there whatsoever. Do they even know that they're talking about publicly traded assets? I wouldn't know. But their PR has no say in this, so I don't really understand what's going on. But Justin Sun being scammy per usual, getting different hapless celebrities to talk about TRX. Did we see a pump at least? Did Justin get a pump at least from this? What's TRX doing these days?
I think it's around, 5 cents?
All right, so we saw a 6% bump. So we got the Lindsey Lohan pump here of 6%. That's looking like craziness that we're getting here out of the Justin Sun network that we've got going on. All right, so Vimworld, and then we'll touch on Wax and StreetFighter.
All right, let's talk about Vimworld real quick. So Vimworld came out last May is when I came across it, right as it first hit in Exchange, and I was like, what in God's name is Vimworld? So the way that I came across Vimworld, which just is celebrating 2,000 S-tier Vims. Now, Vims are virtual integrated metadata, which essentially is just a avatar little character that you then stake 8-hour tokens into. Now, Vimworld and the 8-hour token is on Vechain, and they launched last May. And to get an S-tier, you have to stake 250,000 ERTs into it. And then once you hit the highest tier, you are then available to get benefits of the pool of the transactions on the 8-hour foundation. Now those transaction percentages haven't been released yet because there's not enough transactions. So what they've been doing is these like goddess Alana blessings where every S tier gets a certain amount of ERTs every day during the blessing stage. The last time they did a blessing was last fall, and it was pretty big. They would release sometimes a couple thousand ERTs to every S tier. So if you had multiple S tiers, you were getting a lot of tokens each day. And now they're doing another celebration because they just hit a milestone of 2,000 S tiers. And the 8-Hour Foundation is very interesting. I'm a huge fan, long-term holder. I have a lot of VIMs that are very unique. I got some rare ones that I'm holding, just like you would hold, almost like baseball cards. But the difference with it is you're staking tokens into the card, and the card can actually be a character that can be played in a game. So in Q2 of this year, they're going to be releasing their first game to allow you to play with the VIMs. But right now, they're running a campaign in their Telegram. So for each day of the blessing, if there's more members that join, they will maximize the blessings times the multiplier up to 5. So I definitely wanted to give them a shout out today to make sure that we can get some more members into their Telegram. It's definitely an interesting project on Vechain that Sonny Liu, the CEO of Vechain, has supported from day one and taken them into their incubator, which is the cream kind of incubation for a lot of projects on Vechain. They've had some internal issues. They kind of ran into a wall towards the end of the fall where they had to work on the marketplace that they're going to be releasing on version 2. And they've also had a hardware that they created that actually brought me into the 8-Hour Foundation to begin with, which was called the Play Table. It's like a giant iPad that you could play Monopoly on. You could play Settlers of Catan on. You can play a lot of board games, but on a digital board that's all connected to the blockchain on the 8-Hour Foundation. When I saw those videos back in May, I was like, this is awesome. It's already been developed. It's called the Play Table. Right on. Well, there's been some issues. I think it was Apple that made them rebrand to the Tab Top, which is a different name. It's not Playtable anymore. It's not as smooth, hard to even say. But it is an actual working product. Were backlogged with orders that they were releasing this last winter with some, but they're right now in a kind of internal. They're kind of just getting everything back to the core of where they want to be. So this first quarter, they're now bringing in a lot of rewards for people who have hung around like myself. And next quarter should be very exciting as they release the new marketplace and the games for it. But this is an interesting one. As you know, with NFTs, there's a lot of utility with different NFTs. And with this one, it's a staking plus also like gaming. So you can challenge another VIM in these games and essentially put your VIM up for, you could lose it and take someone else's VIM if you win, vice versa. And with 250,000 shares inside your S tier VIM, I mean, when this kind of gaming thing opens up, I mean, that's high stakes gambling right there in the sense of competing against another person. I don't know exactly how that's going to work yet, but Vimworld's doing this thing. I wanted to give it a shout out today because I'm still a holder of it, and everyone who came in through Vimworld to check out Layer 1 today, welcome. This is Layer 1 on the LADZ Crypto Network, and I definitely have been talking about Vims to a lot of the lads who give me a moment of their time when we're chatting in LADZ City. It's an interesting project. I had to be patient with it because it did start out really hot and then slowed down in the fall and winter times. But right now, I tell you, the community is such a really good community. I know some Telegram groups, they get really angry and they start fudding. They start shilling just to get more people in. This community understands the process. They've been very patient with it, and I just thought today would be a good time to give them a shout out.
Awesome, man. We've got Brian in the chat saying Vimworld won't be this cheap for long. Just look at Vet and Hi. This is definitely not financial advice, but a lot of good stuff. Buffalo is bringing you the latest from Vimworld, from Vechain. A lot of great things going on. They're doing a DeFi NFT play here. It's under the radar. It's kind of like the lead is buried. They don't say it right up the front, but if you actually have NFT assets and they're they have some sort of yield associated, that's great to see. So a lot of great things coming from this platform. I'm going to touch on the last story here. Great to see Orlando in the house as well. Buffalo and me talked to the Wax team 2 days ago. And they're doing some interesting things, and I'm going to pull up the Wax and StreetFighter video. It's about a minute long. We'll probably go about 30 seconds into this video so that you guys can take a look at what's happening. This is next week. It's February 18th. I believe it's going to be at noon Eastern Standard Time. Don't hold me to it. But StreetFighter, this is a big play for Wax, and congratulations for getting that IP. Great news for the Wax blockchain there.
I was so excited about this launch coming up that I downloaded Sega Genesis emulator and the Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, and I played that thing nonstop the last couple days. I love it, man. Street Fighter is definitely one that, as a kid growing up, was one of my favorite games. So I'm very excited to see how this launch goes. I mean, Wax has had some good launches. Wax has had some launches that maybe didn't bring as much attention as they'd like, but I think this is one of the bigger ones that they've had to launch so far, and I'm very excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, we got the inside scoop, although I mean it's on like public videos, so it's not technically inside scoop. So we have these build cards, and that's going to be the very interesting part here. And I'll add another one too. The actual sale, and I think they do this obviously to make sure that nothing goes wrong with the actual process of selling and then opening the packs. The actual sale in the beginning is going to be just for the packs themselves. 24 hours later, that's when the opening occurs. So that's going to be the process that we're kind of doing on Thursday and then moving into Friday. And then the build cards. So when you actually purchase these packs, you can see that you're getting these build cards here at the bottom, and you put those build cards together to get higher mints, to get the collector's editions. I'll go into the actual StreetFighter cards website now here. And basically, again, this is how it works. So you see the build cards. These are essentially everything that's going to be in that pack. So you see the collector's edition, you see the class, you see the action, you see all of these different cards. Those aren't going to be inside the actual packs. It's only going to be the build cards. And then once you put them together and you start burning these cards, that's what's going to kind of net you the chance at actions, at collector's editions, at these foils, all of them. And then you have a lot more gaming features here, which was basically the comments that we had when we were on the that conversation with the team. Buff it's a full-on commitment to gamification. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm curious too, because I know with a lot of these launches, I've decided I was going to try to take a different play on this one and just hold packs for long-term pack value instead of opening them all. But of course, I'll open some and participate, but try not to go as heavy. I mean, the last COGS one, I told myself I'd do 50-50 and keep 50 packs that aren't opened. I only have one unopened pack left. I get too into it like a little kid on Christmas morning, but this is going to be interesting to see what the long-term play of unopened packs will do as well, knowing that you have to need these build resources to get to the next stage. And then also the fact that this runs for 24 hours, and then there's a whole nother day, which is like the opening day. So that's kind of unique because it gives you two special days, right? You get the event and see how many people get involved, and then you have the opening, which is its own separate event. So it'll be interesting to see how many people participate and if Wax can really, get a lot of traction on this one, which I feel like everyone loves Street Fighter, so they have it all set up. Let's just see how they can execute.
Yeah, 100%. And Bait Shop Billy saying it seems risky. It is kind of a tad risky on their part. They could have just launched these collectibles and said, hey, we're not going to do this additional game mechanic. They could have just launched it as is. It will be an interesting time there on Thursday. It does run for 24 hours again. So I believe there's no supply cap on actual packs. It's going to run for 24 hours, but then no packs can be sold afterwards, at least not from the actual company itself. It can be sold on the secondary market. So it is a risky play by them, and it will be, a way that they can kind of increase that secondary market sales. We've already seen this with Shatner, where the secondary markets were a little bit more active because you had to put different pieces together to get the actual collector's items. So it definitely will be something to monitor here on Thursday, and we will have more updates from Wax and from Street Fighter as it relates to what we're doing with NFT Live. So
did you participate in the Shatner one?
I did participate in the Shatner one, and there was the element of, I need to actually go out on the market and buy an extra piece so that I could actually get this one. So,
right on. Yeah. So for me, I guess if I'm holding packs like that, long term might be a decent play, but we'll see.
Yeah, packs are under the radar, man, as they hold their value. At the very least, I don't know if we've seen any NFT projects where the packs are just absolutely underwater from the price that you got it at. So I feel like that's an underappreciated part of NFTs at this point. I don't think it's talked about that much as far as the risk reward that we see from packs in the NFT space. It's not talked about whatsoever. You're seeing 2 to 3x's on some of these, and the downside risk to a lot, although this isn't financial advice, is not that bad. So
yeah, I mean, I know with COGS 1, if I held all those packs instead of opened them, they definitely increased in value.
Awesome. Well, we cover a lot of that on NFT Live. We're going to be working, like I said, we're going to drop some announcements here from Wax and from Street Fighter as it relates to NFT Live here over the coming days. So Easy's in the house saying, I have one unopened Top Shot Rare Western Conference pack. Not sure if I should open or hold. I want to open it. Xplow saying GPK, Tiger King, GPK stuff other than Series 1. A lot of those packs, I mean, over the course of a long period, don't get me wrong, those packs may not be that valuable, but the packs were holding their value for months at a time But maybe over a certain, period when you get to that 3, 4, 5 month range. Again, I'm kind of generalizing here, but for the most part, if you can flip those, in a 1 or 2 month time period, they haven't seen that much of a down period. I don't have the numbers in front of me for a GPK Tiger King, but that's what I've seen from my just visuals. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Right on, man.
Okay, so we'll hit DeFi and then we'll run out of here. Not much specific DeFi news. We've got 40 billion total value locked in DeFi right now. This comes from DeFi Pulse. We see a bunch of new protocols here. We see Badger passing 2 billion. We see Sushi Swap up here, 3.73 billion. Alpha Mora is 1.25, so they passed the 1 billion mark. A lot of good stuff happening within the DeFi space, and we see, again, 40 billion locked, 12 billion in the start of December. That is an absolute parabolic trend right there, that we're only going to see likely increase. I don't see us moving away from the innovation that's happening within DeFi. So really awesome to see for the whole ecosystem. And shout out to DeFi Pulse for providing that information for the ecosystem. We've got ETH 2.0, 5.5 alone, 5.5 billion in ETH 2.0 deposit contracts in staked Ether. So again, a lot of people staking via some different products too. I think Rocket Pool, not financial advice, but Rocket Pool is doing some interesting things. They're a Lido competitor. We saw the Lido pool allow people to stake into through their platform or through their dApp. You can actually stake to ETH 2.0 and receive a token in return that you can then use within the DeFi ecosystem. But it looks like there's about 3 million locked up, and that's via individuals as well as those platforms I just talked about. Rocket Pools, Kraken, exchanges like Kraken and Coinbase are doing this, but we see 5.5 billion in locked up funds on ETH. Craziness.
We're gonna start talking trillions soon. It's just getting crazy.
Absolutely. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
So,
well said.
Really good stuff here on ETH 2.0. Great to see that continuously, although that's an absolutely gigantic honeypot. So if anything ever happened to that contract that we see the ETH staked into, it would be interesting to see the fallout from that. We've got a lot of comments there on PAX. I think we kind of struck a chord there that we can touch on later. I wanted to hit Badger DAO. Love what Badger's doing. Like I said, they passed, I believe, let's see. I believe they passed the 2 billion mark. Yep, they just hit 2 billion. So Badger is doing amazing things, and this is only going to increase their reputation within the ecosystem here. They post about 5 hours ago saying only for OG airdrop badgers, limited edition, real gold with NFTs attached for boosted APY in the app. There's a lot of things going on here. There's physical collectibles that they're showing off. There is a boosted APY NFT piece that they're doing. They don't even know, I think, who they're going to drop this to, because they're asking, is this only for OG airdrop badgers? Is this for dig airdrop recipients? It's just an interesting portion here. Badger is doing consistently awesome things. They know how to create a brand. They know how to engage with their community. It's an awesome team, awesome platform. So if you are in Badger, congratulations on that. Otherwise, everything in crypto right now is a very, very awesome and complex process. So that's where we're at in the timeline, it feels like.
I love NFTs with utility that boost APY or any percentages that you're getting on any of the staking, and that was my introduction into NFTs, was actually getting an X node on Vechain, which you store inside your wallet, and if you hold that certain threshold and never go below it, you produce a higher yield every 10 seconds of the VETHA, which is the gas on the network. And that was my introduction to NFTs. It's like very interesting from there to go into a lot of collectibles and a lot of things of the artistic value, right, where it's just something that's rare, a mint one or whatnot. But then when you get this utility of physical token too, that's unique, and something that I kind of like that style and like to see more of it. I like the OG style too, of rewarding your core foundation as you grow. VulcanVerse did an OG badge, which apparently is one of their tokens that you can actually sell to people who aren't OGs just like the X node on Vechain. So Vechain did that where if you held a certain amount, I think it was 600,000 Vechain, you got an X node. And if you held that much, you would continue to hold that X node. Or you could then eventually, I think like a year later, they opened up a marketplace to allow OG holders to sell their X node token to somebody who wasn't in, like myself. And so I was able to get in almost as a first user now, or first holder. And so you get that kind of OG token thing. I like that style. I'm very interested in creating that for the LADZ as well. And when I see that in groups, I feel like that's a great model to support the true hodlers and OGs of that project. And if they stay in it, they're going to be rewarded long term.
Awesome. We've got some comments here from Easy asking about the Mirror airdrop on the Mirror protocol, as well as METH. So I'm not a big user of the Mirror protocol at all, to be honest. So if we have some comments here in the chat about Mirror and what's going on, we don't really have that queued up for today, nor are we active users. So definitely drop that in. Looks like Easy saying anyone get in on the Mirror drop on METH. That original Mirror drop I was able to get in on. Shout out to, I think, Ari for passing that on. I might be wrong. Maybe it was Phasia. But one of the lads was able to drop that. There was an interesting airdrop there as well. Hubber is saying, I'm interested in getting into DeFi, but it's intimidating. What do you say to that, Crypto Buffalo?
I feel you on that one. I felt like I missed the boat, and then I missed the water skis or whatever analogy I was going to use right there until my brain just turned off. So I've been looking into it over the last couple of weekends. If you've watched Layer 1 Live last week or the week before, I was mentioning Unilayer, which is a Layer 2 solution to connect to a lot of these decentralized exchanges. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing these first big decentralized exchanges pop off. And then some of the utility of it, or not utility, but functionality, right, isn't exactly what the users want. So then you get these other groups to create those functions and have a second layer on top of that. And it's just this like cascadingness of opportunity right now. And it's getting a little crazy out there, but I've been kind of looking on the next layer. And with Unilayer, I've been, kind of shilling it a little bit because I am a holder of it. And I'm kind of waiting for them to launch. And what they're essentially trying to do now is be an exchange to utilize 4 or 5 other decentralized exchanges. They just announced today that they're on Binance Smart Coin now, and it's just growing. So I would say do a lot of research, find something that makes sense for you, use it first. Understand, I mean, like when I used Uniswap, I got burned a little bit because I couldn't figure out the slippage. I had a lot of transactions that weren't going through. I was wasting gas left and right. I reached out to this awesome guy named Llama in LADZ City. He helped me kind of get my slippage percentage right so that I could get a transaction in. And then I did not change it when I went on a bigger transaction I was trying to get through, and ended up, having some buku bucks burned off on just the slippage itself. So with the decentralization of exchanges, you're also very vulnerable in making trades that you don't understand exactly what you're going to get when you push that button. So proceed with caution as the user. You are your own bank in crypto now, but it is a wild, wild west right now. A lot of these places, like 1INCH that you just saw today, are going to do a lot of things to peacock, if you will, to get you to come in and use their exchanges. And so it's really interesting to see kind of what's next. What's the next kind of like little attributes and rewards that people are going to get for utilizing some of these exchanges.
Yeah, it's an interesting time that we're in. We brought up Life ROI a couple times. I brought this up over the past 2 weeks multiple times. There's not anything you could be doing right now that's probably more worth your time financially than figuring out at least base level understandings of DeFi. Nobody's doing a better job innovating around financial services right now. We see the macro push, and I think most of us that are heavy in crypto understand that eventually a lot of people in day-to-day will be interacting with DeFi protocols without knowing. That's where we need to get to, right? So there's this adoption barrier that we're going to be there, or we're going to have until people start to figure out the UX and UI, much like the NFT portion. We're there in NFTs as well. Like both NFTs, social tokens, DeFi, we're in the first inning, the tip off, the first point scored. Social tokens were not even in the building yet. With like where we are on the timeline,
we're still parking the car.
Oh, we're like there's so many different things. So when you say that you're interested in DeFi, but it's intimidating. right now is definitely the good returns are being felt by those that are deep into the tech and understand what's going on. Maybe the returns aren't as good once you get the world involved. Maybe I'm wrong there, but DeFi will definitely get less intimidating over time. That's it. That's just the way that it needs to go. NFTs, using an NFT and getting the utility out of it and all these different things, it looked like shit in 2017. Now in 2020, we got things like Blankos, we have things like NBA Top Shot. That's just the timeline. So, when you're interacting with CryptoKitties in 2017 from an NFT perspective, that looks incredibly different than what Dapper Labs is doing right now with NBA Top Shot. And that's the example that you would give for that lower level or lowering of the barrier for people to get in. So awesome stuff. Looks like Scott is in the chat saying late to the party. No worries, man. We appreciate you showing up. He's saying our vibe, definitely our vibe, our tribe. Thomas is saying Venus on BSC has been looking good. Anyone use that yet? It was mentioned multiple times there in the Binance, in the DApp Radar article about Binance. So there is a great, a lot of things happening, a great many things happening there on the Binance Smart Chain. Venus being one of them. I think they're the most volume there on BSC. Thomas is saying, just remember to get at least 38% APR on your stablecoin if you go that route. Yeah, a lot of times if you're putting into these DeFi protocols, you need to be getting like 200, 300% APR just to kind of take the risk of exposing your assets there. So awesome conversations today. Great chats. We appreciate you guys, delivering there in the chat, and we appreciate everybody kind of stopping by here for the episode today. I think we're gonna hop out. We're gonna kind of close the episode here. A lot of great comments again. Mass Mage is saying this stuff is all still in alpha when talking about global adoption or even mainstream in the US. Most people I ask, they have no idea about crypto, let alone NFTs, let alone DeFi. The great comment there to kind of wrap us up. So we're out of DeFi. We had a great episode today. We had about an hour and we're at like an hour and 30 minutes at this point. Take us through the closing here, Buffalo. What's happening today as well as the rest of the weekend and then on Monday?
Alrighty, well, it's closing time. Today we are going to end this show, and we're going to go back into LADZ City, which is our Discord, where we hang out. There's links in the description. Q's going to get ready to launch a nice little link there in the comment section that's going to be LADZ tokens. So reward the LADZ for watching every show. So if you're new here, go get your roll wallet set at tryroll.com, and then you'll be able to receive these LADZ tokens that we're about to hand out. Later on tonight, we have LADZ Gaming. It will be CSGO, so get your bunny hopping skills over the corner ready for a lot of you CSGO fans out there. There should be some major ponage. I know Q loves that word. And then Saturday, we have another special event for poker. LADZ Poker, held and hosted by the one and only XPlow. It is popping off. Hopefully, I can make the final table this time. Need to cool my jets and stop acting like a maverick. I know that I am not the best at the table, but sometimes I go all in, man. You just got to do it. Last week I got put out on I think it was a 7-3 play by X Modi, a very cool Scottish lad who he called me. I had pocket queens. The man called me with 7-3, and then we saw the flop, and it was 7-3-10, and he crushed me. So I'll give you guys a little play-by-play on my poker fails, because there will be many more of them for sure. And then we've got the Sunday, we got day off. Everybody, hang on. It's the 7th day. Everybody relax. And then Monday, we're starting right back up again. We've got a really big launch with the Wolves of Wall Street finance guys. They're doing their launch sale. And then we have Layer 1 Live, which I think we're going to probably combine and do that sale day episode. And then later on that day is going to be a special LADZ radio, which I will be hosting, which we will then do an auction for one of the Wolves or the Boys, which is the NFTs on that project. And then I'll be playing music. I'll be giving you the rundown for the week. It is definitely a groovy thing. If you're new here, LADZ Radio is a place to go to kind of get informed on how this all runs down, along with listening to some music and getting free LADZ tokens thrown at your face. So it's kind of like what I like to do there to kind of start the week. I think it's a great way to do it. And yeah, next week's going to be a really good week as well. If you're in LADZ, make sure to check out the calendar, because we like to keep that up to date for everybody. And we are trying to move our brains into UTC, so we can all be on the same time here, because everybody who's watching right now, it's either morning, afternoon, or night. And welcome and thank you for showing up. And we want to make sure that you guys all understand when we're doing these streams so that you can, make your schedule work for you. But that's what we got going on, man. Anything else, Q?
No, I think you touched on most of the stuff there. We have 2 sale days next week. Well, we're going to announce the second one here shortly. But as you guys can see, Wolves of Wall Street, we're working with them. They do have that on, I believe, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. So that's going to be, I think it's 5 hours. So 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. UTC again, we're kind of struggling with that. We are working on it. We have the pre-sale countdown there, and we're going to be working with Wolves to launch that sale day on Monday. So we had them on NFT Live. They kind of broke down how the platform is going to work. Really awesome stuff. Really innovative things, I think, is probably the way to do it with what they have on this platform with the DeFi and NFT synergy. So we'll be doing that on Monday. We got all these other events in between now and then we're going to be running that second sale day there at the end of the week. So a lot of good stuff happening with LADZ. Buffalo, thank you for joining me today on Layer 1 Live. Nice unicorn there. He's not a 1-incher. He's a Uniswap guy, apparently. So we are getting ready to roll out of here, guys. Thank you so much again. Perma-D is saying, is there a reason why we don't get the live episodes in the podcast feed queue? That is an interesting... But Buffalo is going to make me just never do a Layer 1 Live with him ever again. That is an interesting piece there. We don't know whether we should add this content into the live feed, or not the live feed, the recorded feed, right? We have a podcast that you can find on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all these things, but it often comes off a little bit different in audio form when someone is kind of just expecting an interview. The live versions can get a little bit off track and they won't be able to see. Maybe we'll add that. If we get enough people that are interested in that kind of setup, we can definitely add those back into the audio. But let me know. If you guys want that back in audio, I can get that done for you. So that being said, I am going to drop this LADZ reward link in LADZ City. So if you guys aren't familiar, you need to get in LADZ City. There is a link in the description. That is our community Discord. I'm going to drop this in main chat here in about 30 seconds. So if you guys are not in LADZ City yet, get in there, and then we will drop that rewards link here after the episode, right after the episode. I'm going to press end stream, and then I'm going to be copy pasting this into LADZ City. So again, appreciate you guys. And that should be it. Thank you so much, Buffalo. You got anything else to say before we hop off?
How dare you!
Thank you, lads.
Happy trading, lads.